everyone. Welcome back to the Craft Cafe. We are here with your host, Latoya Riggins, host of All Things Craft. And I am so excited. I want to make sure that we are live on Facebook. So, hi, Facebook. I'm checking it now. I'm going in. We have a great episode for you guys today. I'm so excited because we have Miss Wendy Dantzler here today. And this is her second time gracing the panel, being featured on the Craft Cafe because she has something new for you guys. So we're going to get started in a minute. I want to make sure that we are live on Facebook. Hold on, let me just pull it up real quick because you know how this technology is. I want to make sure that we are going strong. All right, let's see. Okay, looks like we're good. All right. Yep, we're up. We're up, guys. Okay. So let's get started. All right, guys. If you have never been to the Craft Cafe, I would like to just kind of usher you on in and let you know what it is that we do here. This is our safe space, our courageous space for the childcare industry. And I don't mean just childcare providers or teachers or anything like that. I'm talking about anybody who adds to the lives of children and families, you guys. Just to give you a quick background, Craft by Better Futures is our online business and professional development platform specifically designed for early childhood education business leaders. So it's all about leadership. And leadership comes in so many different ways. Myself, I'm the vice president of professional development, but I also am the director of marketing. So when I do the Craft Cafe live show, this is our outlet to amplify the voices in this industry, you guys. And what other way, what better way to do that than with somebody like Miss Wendy Dantzler? I'm gonna just give you a quick little intro on her. I met Wendy years ago doing conferences here in Maryland. And one thing that we bonded on is the fact that when we're out in these spaces, we really need to connect beyond those spaces. And we decided to connect. She told me about her business, Planning by When, and I got so excited because, as you guys know that know me, know that I come from a workforce development background. So the whole relationship between businesses and employees and things like that have been my secret little sauce in the, in my career. So having somebody to understand what that looks like, because I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I was an employee for many years. So I understand what it feels like to not feel appreciated. And knowing that we have such I guess I could call it a staffing crisis in this industry, we need to start doing better. So when I went to Wendy and she started telling me about all the great things that she's doing over at Planning by When, I had to bring her onto the show. So Wendy, I'm so excited about your new endeavor. We're gonna catch up and talk about what Planning by When has going on. But what I want today, you guys, is to really bring out what I'm super proud of her, Miss Baby Toni, her and her daughter's new creation, TONI Magazine. Wow. Wendy.
Yes.
TONI Magazine. I wanted to just give them a background because some people may have not seen that episode and they don't understand that this is not your first rodeo. This is something new. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's go into how we landed on TONI Magazine.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I just love being here, and I'm going to speak it into existence right now. I'll be back because I'm working on something else that we'll talk. I'll talk a little bit more about, hopefully, if we have some time. But thank you so much. It's such a joy to be here. I love all your positive energy, using that energy to sow into my next project, if you will. But welcome, everyone. My name is Wendy Dantzler. A little bit of background about me. My passion is early childhood. I have a bachelor's degree in early childhood development, a master's degree in early childhood education, and a certificate of advanced studies and administration and supervision in the area of early childhood. My passion has always been working with the babies and working with the parents and working with the community, just making sure that we have a wonderful system to wrap around all of our children to make sure that they are growing up in an environment that's healthy and thriving to them, whatever environment that may be. I'm also a mother. I have two children. My daughter, Toni Elizabeth, she's 7. And I cannot believe I'm saying that now that she is
I
7
know,
years
right?
old. My goodness, she's growing so fast. And my son, Sebastian Knox is his name, and he just turned 5 years old, and that's my baby boy. That's my bud. Sebastian has been diagnosed with autism, and so that is another journey that I am a very big advocate for, and that is also part of our new project. And I say our because that's my project and Sebastian's that we're going to be doing together, like the magazine between Toni and I that we do, together.
Yeah.
Um, but that is an area that I'm also just a champion rooting for all children with special needs because they are so beautiful and unique.
Mhm.
And I don't want to go too far deep into that because I get very emotional. I'm very emotional about my projects and my babies.
Of
So I'm a mom.
course.
I am a wife. I also work for Johns Hopkins University within the Center of Technology and Education, where I am a program coordinator, helping programs, early childhood programs, reach a great level of quality in the Maryland Excel system. So I love working with my family child care providers to guide them and coach them on what it means to have a good quality early childhood program or family child care center. So I do that as well. And in my spare time, I guess if I have any,
Spare time, right?
uh, you have Planning by When, where we really focus on having events or work retreats or things of that nature for your employees, for your staff. But the goal is to show them and to really show and to dive deep about around how they are valued, appreciated, how they're seen, because you spoke to that a little bit in the introduction. That's very important to me, and also in the area of education, our teachers,
Yeah.
um, our anyone, the principals, assistant principals, instructional support service providers, which I got to see in a different light working with the special needs department um, with my son. But Planning by When really focuses on the staff and employees. And then from there, we have TONI Magazine, which I'm here to talk about. I don't even know how we have time to do that, but TONI
Right.
Magazine, uh, early childhood magazine slash adult magazine, it's for everybody. It's for everybody, but the audience this go round are really our parents, and of course childcare providers. But we're really trying to get TONI Magazine out here in the world, but definitely into the hands of our parents. So that's a little bit what I'm doing over here right now.
We got
And
some great
the new
feedback. Hey,
project that I'll
Facebook.
speak on just very briefly, the new project is a part 2 of the magazine. We're looking to start another one called Bash. My son's name is Sebastian, but we call him Bash for short. His
Oh,
name
I
is
like
Bash.
that.
That magazine we're looking to probably launch in 2027, maybe. It's all behind the scenes being developed. And his magazine really focuses on children with special needs and celebrating it and really bringing the voices of parents and community partnerships. And that is going to be the focus of Bash's magazine. So a
That.
little bit, putting that out there in the atmosphere for you for a little bit.
Oh, yes, we got some comments on Facebook. Hey, Facebook, thanks for watching. They're saying, wow, awesome. Go TONI Magazine. Yes, so that is
Thank
needed.
you.
Yes, it is needed. What I love, Wendy, when you told me that you were doing the magazine, I was, growing up, I was a magazine head. I loved hip hop magazines. I loved hair magazine. I loved fashion magazines. And now in today's world, we don't do a lot of magazines. So when I saw a magazine, I was like, okay, I want to know more about this. Like, what are we gonna, where are we going with this? And when you told me about the whole focus between you and TONI, I'm thinking about you guys have like a multiplex of connection. Of course, obviously that's your daughter, so you have the mom and daughter, so you have the parent perspective. Then you
Mhm.
have your education professional from how so many sides of the field. You get to connect with so many people that actually are in the industry that are not even specifically teachers or business owners sometimes. So I love the fact that you are highlighting those. Can you talk a little bit about what can we expect? Because I know you talked to me about it, but just tell everybody about the type of perspectives that you're bringing to this magazine. Well, the magazine is bringing to the public. Can you talk a little bit about that, like what that looks like? Because I feel like those spaces are kind of quiet. You know, nobody really gets to hear what's going on in there. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. So I want to share that we didn't know that we were going to be developing, designing, or putting out a magazine. We thought it was planning by when, and that, that was it. That was all. But with everything that I really try to do or create in life, I always go into prayer first. And I prayed on planning by when because I wanted to create and start a company that somehow could always help someone else, always give back to your community. When I was growing up, my parents always said, never forget where you came from and never forget to give back. Never forget those things. It's always important to help when you can. As I got older, jumping up until now, and I'm going to let you all know how this ties into how I'm raising my daughter in the magazine. It's important that when I went down in prayer about planning by when, that I was able to help other people in some type of way. That's how I got the vision of you need to do something that acknowledges people working.
Mm-hmm.
Because and I would go out and I would talk to people, I would interview them, and it was just the level of nobody cares if I'm here, nobody cares if I'm staying, working overtime, nobody really cares how much I'm helping their child, in school beyond just teaching them reading. And that was how planning by when started. Now, from being doing that and trying to talk to Tony and Sebastian about leaving that to them in a
Mm-hmm.
way that they could understand, because the other part of that prayer was that I need something to leave to my children.
Yeah.
I need this to continue to go, to grow and to grow, to see, to sow into my family. And not just even outside of my children. I'm thinking about my mom, my dad, my sisters, their husbands, my nieces, my nephews. And I'm thinking, how can I place them strategically within this business? Because this is it was never just for me to try to make money. I really like to try to explain that to people so they can know the passion behind PBW. So when the parenting part came in with Tony, this started when Tony was 4 years old. Tony started having a little bit of trouble loving who she was at 4. Now, me with all of my background, okay, yeah, I have a bachelor's, I have a all of, okay, I wasn't really ready for that conversation with her at 4. And
Yeah.
how do I explain to her that she is beautiful just as she is and love yourself just as you are?
Mm-hmm.
And I started to have these conversations with her, and it started with her hair. And for about maybe a week or 2 weeks, I know my baby was, I don't want to just throw the term out depressed like that, but she was sad,
Yeah.
was not happy. And she wanted her hair to be different. She described it to me. She wanted her hair to be able to, when she got on the swing, for it to touch the ground, to swing back. When she was swinging back and forth, she wanted her hair to be long enough to touch the ground. And some other conversations that we had, private conversations that we had. And I went into prayer about this.
Yeah.
And I said, I need, what am I doing wrong? One, that I'm not really sewing into my daughter that she is beautiful, she is loved, she's just so we're all different and unique, but of course that's my baby. And I'm like, girl, you're gorgeous. You know, your hair is beautiful. It's so thick and full. And I'm like, all mommy can do is wear a ponytail all the time. I don't have room to my hair. I'm like, that's why I'm always just got my habit back in the ponytail all the time. But anyway, as I continued to go into prayer, I thought that I was going to write a book. I talked to Toni about it and I told her the vision of it. And I was like, no, you're going to be in the book. I had the whole vision, all of the pit, everything laid out. And then I heard a voice say, no, not yet. That's not where you're going. Just listen. Magazine. I'm like, no, book. I can write a book. Everyone's been telling me to write a book. I want to do the book. And I went into certain stores with Toni. Like we would just go in any store that has a magazine rack, like the grocery stores, the dollar store. I'm always in the Dollar General with her. But my focus just started to be drawn to all the magazines, you know, and the checkout lines. And I'm like, why? And then it was drawn to the pictures that were up in the fashion department, the kids' clothing, you know, section. And I was just drawn to that. And it was just like, magazine, this is what I want you to do. And it was not making sense to me at the time. And one day we were in a store and we were walking out and I looked at the magazine rack, and I'm going to hurry up. I know I can go on. I looked at the magazine rack and I didn't see any children really, or children of color, any children really reflected in any of the magazines. You had all your health magazines, you know, a couple of fashion, the gossip magazines. I remember seeing Magnolia. I think it's Magnolia. Yeah. And I think she does the house, like the interior designs or something.
Oh, you talking about the HGT?
Yeah, HGTVs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chuck and
I pulled Toni up. I said, you know, Love Bug, okay. How would you feel about a magazine? And I explained to her what it was and I showed her, you know, the rack and everything. And I said, how would you like to be on the cover of that? And it could be your magazine. And I said, the name of it is going to be Toni. It's going to be you. I said, is that something you would like? And she was like, yes, yes. You know, she was very excited about it. So I said, and it can be, that's when I feel like a lot more was starting to just be given to me. Early Childhood Magazine, that's your field.
Yeah.
LMNOPs, that's early childhood. And the TONI Magazine is based around the LMNOPs.
I was about to say, can you go into that? Because when you said that to me the first time, I thought that was like a cutesy way of saying, like, you know, ABC 1, 2, 3, like, you know,
yes.
ABC. So can you break that? Well, before you break that down, let me just say hi to everybody that's in the on the live on Facebook, watching live right now. Hey guys, we got Talana Coleman, we got Gertrude Freeman. Hey guys, we got Aquila Ledbetter, Jennifer Richards. Wow, hey guys. They said, come on, this is awesome. We must pour into children. And they said, representation is paramount. Yes. Greetings, everyone. Amen. Prayer is always the best starting place. You are on point, Wendy. All right now. So I'm excited about this because like I said, the LMNOPs. Can you break that down?
Yes, the LMNOP. So it was also a great way to explain that to Toni. I'm like, Toni, is within the alphabet, the LMNOP. And I'm like, girl, we can talk about language, mental health, nutrition. So the LMNOPs within TONI Magazine, any issue that you get will always have the L. We talk about the importance of language and literacy. We talk about the M, the importance of mental health and mental wellness. We talk about the N, which is the importance of healthy nutrition. We talk about O. O is representative of our fashion and other early childhood, other important early childhood topics. So that leaves the gate open because we didn't just want to stop at LMNOP in case, you know, someone else said, no, you might want to consider bringing this into the magazine. So we have other important topics. And the P is, of course, the importance of play. And I know you had my girl Patty on here, I think, and she's talking about the importance of play. But those are the LMNOPs. And whenever we create an issue of TONI Magazine, you will always have information coming from experts, coming from sometimes I like to blog or just put something in there, but we're getting a high level of parents submitting articles to me so that it's more information and content that real people, real parents can relate to. And not just always hearing from, not that it's a negative, but not always hearing from people that they feel like they can't necessarily relate to about what it means to um, style their child's hair or the texture or just different things. It's coming from a lot, the articles are coming from a lot of parents who are
Yeah.
like right now. I had one parent who said, girl, I just finished dinner and I had the children help out. I just took some pictures, but it's the importance of nutrition. It's not all fancy. And I'm like, that's okay. Because
Yeah.
we want to get some real life experiences into this magazine. Because I do know that a lot of times, sometimes on Facebook, Instagram, or social media, we portray things as if they are always just great sometimes. And we each within certain people's like home structure or lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can really help, that can really be challenging for people in their mental health, thinking they're
Mhm.
not doing good enough, thinking
Mhm.
they're not making enough money, thinking that, you know, um, I just stopped here at whatever fast food place to get my child something to eat. I'm a bad parent.
Yeah.
So we have been getting a lot of parents submitting articles, and I'm telling them, no, what you're doing is enough. What you're doing is great. What you're doing, we're not to say that we cannot improve, but what we do, and you know this, Latoya, we start from where you are
Right.
and we help you to grow from there. Where you are and you grow from there. And if this is where you are and this is the story that you would like to be reflected in the TONI Magazine about where you are right now, that's what we're going to do. And the next steps, because there are always next steps, is to help connect you with people who can help you in that area of nutrition, in that area, in the importance of play, in the area of mental health and mental wellness. It's
Yeah.
about making those, you said that, it's about making those connections beyond.
Mhm.
And TONI Magazine, I really feel like once I felt like I understood what God was showing me. And sometimes I still don't, but I keep going in prayer and he keeps sending me just different people saying that, Wendy, no, this is great. And sometimes I even talk myself and say, is this really what I should be doing?
Yeah.
Should I stop this? Sometimes, should I give up, focus more on my babies, focus more on, not that I'm not, but
Oh,
we
I
get those
stalk you on Facebook. I know how good you are with your babies.
sometimes we get those,
But I love
those
that.
thoughts. But I felt like one, TONI Magazine, that's Tony's magazine. She can
Mhm.
take that and make that her own. I'm going to nurture her and guide her through this whole process. Still being a parent, talking from the business perspective. She loves community. She loves sports. She loves just the magazine is TONI. That's the best way that I can say it. That magazine really reflects who she is. And
Yeah.
when she saw herself on the cover, I you would have thought she was standing on the stage in front of this huge crowd. I mean, she lit up when she saw the magazine in real life and she saw herself on the cover. And she said, "Is that me?" And I was like, "It is you." But all of where we are now is the journey that started from when she was 4. And when I say my baby now, her self-esteem is like sometimes I'm like, "Look, girl, I might have to calm you down a little bit." But that is her. Um, we work on it together, believe it or not. She for the first issue, the soft launch, she picked out the pictures that she wanted to go in there. Those were hers. She picked out the cover picture with her doing her little peace sign. She selected that. Um, but yeah, I hope I answered your question. I know I tend to go back because I like people to hear the story of how we got to where we are and then so they can know where we're going. with this. But yeah, I hope I
Love
answered
it.
the question.
Oh, you did. I got some more.
Mhm.
You know, I always have some more. So this is,
Yes.
you said a lot of different things. So I just wrote down a couple nice notes that I want to circle back to. The first thing I want to say is I love the fact that you talked about you know, that they're on Facebook saying transparency is good. I love this. Uh they think the cover is cute and your
Oh,
baby.
thank you. Thank you.
Now, what you said about that insecurity of, you know, when you're being a mom and, you know, just trying to do it all and feeling like you're not doing enough, maybe you're not enough, or even you being transparent about your feelings when Toni told you about how she felt about, you know, her hair and the things that she saw in herself or didn't see. I know, so, you know, as a mom of three girls, you know, I know boys go through it too, but I know when it comes to girls, you know, we have this big job to be cute and look good, and we're always compared to everything under the sun. So I know how hard it is for little girls and Black little girls in particular. You touched on a little touchy subject for me because I was one of those little girls that didn't have the silky hair and things like that. So those are things that I struggle with. Over time, you know, as I grew up, I learned how to embrace my natural hair, obviously. But I actually went through that with my girls, and I would do little things to. I would put yarn in their hair, like add yarn to their hair to add color. So instead of dyeing it, you know what I mean? Because it had kind of like that yarny texture. And what I started to do was teach parents how to care for their hair. It was a natural hair care and braiding class, and it helped the not just, and it was moms and dads, it helped them get more confident and really utilize that time with their child as quality time and not be so frustrated because you're scared or you don't know if you're doing it right. And then like you said, the representation, I was dealing with a lot of parents, working with a lot of parents that had interracial kids, so their hair textures were all different. So it's like, you know, children go through so much. And like you said, for a child at 4 years old to think about her identity, there's so many parents going through this, Wendy. And now they have a place to land. They have a place, a safe space to talk about it and know they're not alone. So, like they're saying on Facebook, that transparency is good. And that vulnerability, Wendy, I just commend you for talking about it and letting people know, because these are the type of things people go through and they won't tell a soul because they're embarrassed or they don't want people to think that they don't feel a certain way all the time. So I think that the fact that you have entered that space, it's going to bring a lot of people out to really tell their stories. And I also like the fact that you care about the representation, because that's something that we've been talking about pretty much across the board, you know, with children, period. And when it comes to childcare, one of the things that's big right now is that DEI piece, and children being exposed to all different types of cultures, different types of looks, different standards of beauty, different all kinds of different cultures, and just diversity, period. And having, when I think about the requirements, you said you guys are doing Maryland Excels. I don't know exactly what they look for, but I know with certain classroom observations that I have been on, they want to see pictures of the children and their families, and that representation definitely matters to help children build their self-esteem. So I love this magazine. You say, I'm thinking of you, I'm just picturing you and Toni at the Harris Teeter or something. You know how they have the cute little wall with all of the magazines and stuff, and other little kids with their parents walking past and someone pointing,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. That little girl looks like me, mommy, or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? So I love that. Another thing I want to unpack with you is you talked about your son Bash and having the, you know, special needs and how you work with him with those types of things. I think that is really important too from a parent perspective. Dr. Gull and I did a class over at in Virginia for a big center, and we were talking about the relationship between teachers and the parents. And and he asked me to come and share my story because when my babies were small, I have twins. One of them I saw some symptoms that made me think that she may have been on the spectrum. So I went to the teacher and asked, for them to give me some feedback. I went to the doctor and I told my story at this class. And it just so happened that was three other mothers there that had that same situation. And what happened was a young lady told her story. And they were all teachers though. These are all teachers, not parents, but obviously they're dual. They have kids of their own. And what happened was she told the story about how she brought her son to the school she worked at. He didn't go to her class, he went to someone else's class. The teacher who had him noticed it. She noticed it too, never said anything, but the teacher actually pulled her to the side, and then she was able to actually confide in that teacher. And that relationship that was built between her and that teacher helped her get the right services for her son, who is now thriving.
Yes.
Had that teacher not opened up that safe space for her, you know what I mean? It could have went a whole nother way. So you being able to open that up for people, Wendy, is going to be a game changer. Can you talk a little bit about that piece and what that means to you?
Yeah, so I am very big on and I'm very passionate when it comes to my children's teachers or their child care providers, their my son's his special needs team. When my son had to get the IFSP, the individualized family service plan, I'm not sure if they do this everywhere, but they come to the house because they'll come to the house to work with the parent and the child. But the goal of it is to work with the parent to try to give me some tools and things that I can do to help, my son, to help Sebastian. But they also work with, directly with Sebastian as well. It's kind of like a coaching. And they do, different types of assessments and things to see exactly, because he was so young at the time. This was before his actual diagnosis. But I'm very big on connecting and communicating with anyone who comes into anyone who's connecting with my children. And it's not just the teachers. When I enrolled my son in soccer, the soccer coaches, whoever, they know me. I mean, I'm I'm right. I'm talking to them. Hey, how are you? This is how Sebastian was today. This is how he was feeling, this past week or something. I'm sharing some things and what he might have did well in school today. And I'm like, you might can use that on the field, or like before he goes on the field, you can say, good job, Sebastian, for, counting to 10 or something like that. I always try to share my children's accomplishments and get to know the person who's working with my child.
Yeah.
Because not I want to be very careful. We do have certain some people do have certain stereotypes already set in about people, sadly, based on maybe what they see on TV, or maybe what they see on social media, or just plain out because they see the color of my skin.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult topic to talk about. But what I do intentionally is I go up and I have to break down certain barriers one by one. It's very hard that sometimes, because of the color of our skin, we have to work that much harder for people to really see who we are. Yeah. Because just walking into the door, and it's sad sometimes, you just walk into the door and all they see is my skin tone.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but some people, and they just don't know certain things. Maybe they weren't raised. I don't know. There are a lot of different reasons, but that's not my job to figure it out. My job as a parent is to make these connections with people who will be overseeing my child's health and their education. And so that they can know me as a person, they can know my family, they can know my children. And then you break down those barriers, which is to get to the heart of things. And they treat my children as if they're theirs, even if it's just different. And I go to them and I talk to them, every day. I do a check-in about health. what's going on at the pediatrician, what's going on at the dentist's office, how was your weekend, how, what. Sometimes I've talked to teachers just sharing my personal journey about when I have to go into prayer and things like that. Not to say that they need to know, everybody needs to know all of your business, but I think that it's important for them to know and see who you are as a person, to see
Right.
kindness in your heart, to see
Yeah.
that you're genuine, to give my children a chance. And then we also weed that out. I also teach my children, we're not fighting for friendships.
Right.
We're
No, I
not
know.
doing that. And I educate my children at the same time. We're not fighting for friendships. You can feel, and we will discern people who love you or like you, who are genuine and have good spirits. They will navigate. You will navigate. But if you keep getting this and you're getting mean things, we're going to respectfully walk away,
Right.
because that's not how I'm raising my child. I'm not raising her for her to fight to be in anybody's circle, right?
Right.
Because that's not what this is.
No.
But we are true, loving, good people of God with good hearts.
Right.
And I'm very passionate about that.
I
And
know.
I take that with me when I meet with the teachers. This is my son Sebastian. You know, I just explain everything about him. This is who he is. He loves to hug. He loves this. You know, call me if you need to, text me if you need to, email me if you need to. I sent a teacher an email. Well, I think his whole IEP team, because he wasn't feeling too well. I think I sent it at like 2 a.m. when we were up. I said, I bet you guess while I'm up at 2 a.m. I'm up at 2 a.m. because my son is not doing too well. But I wanted to give the whole team an update about that, just so
Yeah.
that why my son possibly won't be in school. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with Toni. This on Saturday, I might send an email. Hey guys, it's Saturday. Toni looks like she might not be feeling too well. Come Monday, she may or may not be there. She may or may not be late, but I really believe in really good communication. And it was also important to me when that IFSP team came to my house, that they had an opportunity to see a different layer of how I'm raising my son,
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
whatever stereotype they might have.
Yeah.
I am actively involved and engaged in both of my children's lives. But you have to understand, when I have conversations with them, sometimes it is different. We have to raise our children differently because of the color of their skin. Even though people might not believe it, it is much different for me to raise a young Black boy in this world. And it's just different, and it's just hard. And like I said, everything I talk about, I know I talk about with passion, but when my child leaves out and I'm already thinking of him like when he's 14, see, we have to think differently if he's wearing a hoodie,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
walking down the street at night.
Yeah.
A lot of other people sometimes don't have to think about it that way, but I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
now
It's
I got to make sure my son's dressed appropriately.
and
Now I,
now it doesn't even matter, like you said, and it's so scary in life, period. Like you said,
yeah,
walking and especially with our kids, we never know what, can happen. But you're right,
right.
like, preparing them. But like you said, having that passion, Wendy, you're creating that space for there's other youths out there that really don't have anybody to really commune with, don't have anybody that they feel even cares about it, you know
Mhm.
what I mean, or even understands. So I love the fact that you're creating this magazine, because now you'll everybody can hear from it and people can see
Yeah,
themselves in it. And then
yeah.
you also talked about bringing in the resources.
Hmm.
You talked about having the tools, and that's what I think is great, because man, when you think of someone who this may be their first time, and you look how educated you are in the field, so you kind of know where to go to get these things. But think about a person who has never heard of any of these things, haven't had any experience, doesn't have any friends or family members that have gone through it. Now they have somebody,
Yeah.
they got
And
they got a place.
Latoya, it is not an easy job
Oh no.
to, number one, to be a good parent. a very intentional parent, and to break away from maybe some people who I'm talking to from what we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you have children or you have your child and you want to, well, you have to change. You change when you become a parent. But the other part is just that um, it's not an easy job to be a good mother, to be a good parent, to be an intentional, and when I say that, I mean every day, me having the background knowledge and talking about language and the elemental piece, talking about language and literacy, mental health, mental wellness, nutrition, fashion, play, because I know how important that is in early childhood. I have to make sure I'm incorporating all that outside of my children being in school. Like when they come home, we're cooking dinner. I'm teaching my children about measurement. I'm trying to teach my children about just math in the kitchen, reading in the kitchen, language and literacy, where a lot of stuff happens in our kitchen. I'm always in there cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll see that on so you see that on my Facebook and
Uh-huh.
stuff. But we're always baking in there. I'm teaching them about nutrition. Then it's like, okay, this weekend I gotta make sure I get them out somewhere to play. I don't care what we do, but we gotta get out. They gotta be active. They have to move. So on top of um, everything else that I do in a full-time job in the PBW company and the TONI Magazine, I have to be present, making sure I'm giving my kids the elemental piece.
Right.
And that is, that's constant. And then definitely that mental health part of it,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to say, Wendy, okay, you've been doing so much. You need to sit down now and you need to talk with your children. You need to ask them an open-ended question. How was their day? Or,
Mm-hmm.
something about their feelings, why they're feeling that way. I have to bring myself back and say, sit down, sit next to your children, talk with them,
Yeah.
talk with them. And I think, and I know we get so busy in this life and they have sports and everything. We're running business, we're trying to do it. We're holding on by a thread. Sometimes the parents, the grandparents hold on by a thread. And I have to just say, stop, talk to your children, talk to my children. Because who are they talking to? And
Right.
who would they get advice from?
And they're
You,
sponges, so they're just absorbing everything.
and yeah, and I really believe, and all this is, wrapped into, the magazine. You're gonna hear from parents, little blogs
Mm-hmm.
like, what is something like, I think it was a couple of techniques you do before you get your children ready for bed, and before they do that, it's like their highs and lows. What was their high day today? What was their child's low day today? But what I'm trying to intentionally do is let my children know that when they come home, a lot of their feelings that they have, they can't really um, experience them fully in the school setting,
Mm-hmm.
right? If they really experience anger, nobody wants them to really be angry in the school setting, or just all these different emotions. So what I'm trying to do is teach Tony and Sebastian, when you get home, you need some sort of an outlet to talk about those feelings and let those feelings fly.
Yeah.
Are you sad? Do you need to cry?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I cry.
Yeah. That dump.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta let
Are
it
you,
out.
are you angry? And I will tell you, last night, Tony came in, came in the room and she said, Mom, can I sit on your lap like I used to when I was a baby? And I said, Tony, you're 7. You're so big. Mommy can't hold you like this anymore. And she just said, please, I really want you to hold me. And I did, I did. I got her. I put the pillow under my arm and I held her for a minute. And within 2 minutes, she was asleep. She was asleep. And my husband came and he picked her up and he went and put her in her bed. But I could have just said, no, girl, go ahead, get in the bed, leave me alone, but my
Mhm.
heart was softened in that moment. And I did, because for
Yeah.
whatever reason, she needed a little bit more affection to help
Yeah.
her go to sleep. And that's what happened, last night. And I held my 7-year-old for a minute, and that was that. But all of this passion, all of this information coming from parents and the articles that we get, I'm trying to drive and put into TONI Magazine. And whenever I go on platforms like this, sometimes I apologize to the audience and say, I'm sorry if I'm too passionate, or I'm sorry
No.
if I go off the road talking about some topics that probably didn't fit in. But I'm just very passionate about everything that goes into being a good mom,
Yeah.
raising my babies, and sowing into their future the
Yeah.
best way that I feel, the best way that I possibly can. And I'm also open to people, offering me suggestions of maybe things that I might need to do or dial back a little bit as it relates to being a parent. But um you get all of this love tied into the magazine, and you're going to get more love tied into Sebastian's magazine as well. So yeah.
I love it. And just to let you know, with them want to get on your lap, that doesn't end. I have teenage girls and they still get on my lap. When they get home from school, they come into my office, and one by one, I say, "Get up here, girl." And
Yeah.
my oldest is bigger than me. She's
Mhm.
17 and she's not 6 feet. She's like 5'8" or so. She's like 3 or 4 inches taller than me. And that girl, them legs be all over the room. But she hurt me. But I just like you, that passion is like, I know they're gonna grow up, but I like how you looking at Toni, she's 7. When I'm
Yeah.
seeing my big girls, they're still little to me too. Like
Oh
I
my
still
God.
see the cute little cheeks in them say, "Mom, can I have a snack?"
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it never goes away. I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
I feel silly when I'm doing it, but I say to myself that there will always be my baby, and I want them to feel safe in my arms, you know?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fact that I can be a safe place for them, if this bigger than me, and they still can nuzzle up under my arm like that, even though I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, struggling to hold them, but I love that feeling. Let me tell
Yeah.
you a little bit about what they're saying on Facebook, Wendy. Okay, everybody is
Wholesome.
loving this. They said, cover them babies in prayer.
Yes.
You are building relationships that will last a lifetime. And they said this is true even for our adult sons. This is about what you were saying about your son.
Hmm.
And they also said, I love that you say you're being intentional.
Hmm.
They like that word. Let's see. Oh wow. Hey Andrea from my old job at Grant. Shout out to the Grant Associates team in DC. She said she said she's playing this for our customers right now. Thank you for this conversation. I used to work there, so I still say hours. So shout out to you guys,
Yeah.
shout out to DC. Yeah.
Hey.
And she says, absolutely. When my grown son was sick and cried for his mom, I heard my baby boy. That is how it is. Like they'll always be our babies.
Yeah.
So, Wendy, I'm just excited about this because this is definitely a passion project for you and Toni,
Mhm.
and a great way for you guys to bond. And I know that if you're gonna build even more on it. So I'm just gonna share my screen a little bit just to show a little bit more about the production of the magazine. All
Mhm.
right, let's see. Can you guys see this? All right, this is the beautiful Wendy, founder of TONI Magazine and early childhood expert. She is, like she just said, she is on the move, you guys. If you are interested in submitting an article for the magazine, you see the website here, planningbywen.com/magazine. Wendy, do they
Yeah.
reach directly out to you? Is there a link on the website for them to advertise? Can you talk a little bit about that? How can people
Yes.
find the magazine, buy the magazine, subscribe? I'm not subscribe. Put ads in the magazine because you already know craft is up in there.
Yes.
And how do they share it? So tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so everything you can find on the website at www.planningbywen.com. Everything about the planning company is on the website. We have a tab for the magazine where you can order and purchase the magazine online as well. And my email is on the website. So if you would like to submit an article, the articles we're asking that they are fit in around the elemental piece. So if, from a parent perspective, if you have a child where you feel as though you've been doing really well in the area of play and you just want to share what you've been doing with your child in an article form, or share pictures of your child maybe playing baseball or soccer or anything new, and you can talk about what did go well, what didn't go well, and where you are now, you can, we definitely would love to have you in TONI Magazine. And so everything, just submit to me via email. Just send me an email just saying, hey, maybe I saw you on Craft Cafe Live. I'm thinking about submitting an article. You'll submit the article via email, any pictures, and that's where we'll start the communication. On the other track, we also want to be able to help any companies, businesses share. If you need help with, promoting, and you want to do an advertisement, it's the same thing. Just send me an email, and you can send the flyer that you would like displayed in the magazine, and then we'll start that conversation. But we're asking that everything fits into early childhood and the community and parents in some way. So if it's around language literacy, mental health, mental wellness, nutrition, early childhood fashion, and play, you should be good to go. So just email me. Also on the website, you will find our links to Instagram, all social Instagram, Facebook, um, where you can follow us and just share. I really ask that you can just share and share it forward. Yes, thank you for putting that up, Latoya, to grow your business for that advertisement. Just send me an email, guys, so we can connect. I'm always looking for new, wonderful articles and ways that I can help the community as well by helping you to promote your business around um, early child education development, all of it. So, yes,
I love it.
thank you.
Wendy, this is so awesome. I'm super glad. I'm super proud of you for stepping out, being brave, being intentional, your word, as they say, they love
Trying to
that
do
they
very,
use
yeah,
it, and just keeping it in prayer. One thing that we have a lot of is faith. Is that we don't, what they say, don't work without faith. Okay. So we
yeah,
have to make sure that we're setting a tone. And Wendy, I told you 2025, we're amplifying the voices of childcare, and you are doing that with this magazine. So thank you for
thank you.
bringing magazines back. And I say that because I'm a touchy feely. I love to collect magazines. Miss Andrea knows, because I used to do vision board parties and stuff like that up at the company. So I'm a stickler for documentation and
Yeah,
periodicals and things like that. I'm a library person. So this is something that's going to document history. I can't wait to work with you, Wendy. I can't wait to see the excuse me, why am I saying the episode? The volume. Okay, and I definitely can't wait to see my ad in there. But there's
yes,
gonna be more where that came from, you guys, because you already know that planning by Wendy is always planning. She always got something up her sleeve. So yeah, you haven't seen the last of Wendy on the Craft Cafe. All right. So Wendy, I want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, being so transparent. I always love that about you. And listen, your passion is always welcome here, because there's always somebody on the other side of the screen that sees it and they can identify with that. And I don't want anybody to feel like they can't be who they are, they can't say what they want to say on our show, because this is our place. This is a courageous space, and it takes
yeah,
courage to come out and put yourself out there, especially when you're talking about your kids. So
yeah.
I commend you, and I'm so happy for you coming on here. And guys, if you haven't heard, definitely go to our website, www.betterfuturesdc.com, for even more. I'm about to get with your updates, but I wanted to just tell you guys, go to her website, check it out. Make sure you're following her on all platforms. How can they get to you on social media, Wendy?
Planning by when? Everything is everything is planning by when on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, now. So listen, y'all reach out to her, like she said. Mention that you've seen her on a Craft Cafe live show, and tell her that Latoya sent you. Okay, so you can get the special treatment.
And Latoya, I would like to put this plug in as well. I don't think I spoke on it. We're talking about the TONI Magazine, but for anybody listening, I also go out and I have workshops that I do in the area of early childhood development, early child education. And my favorite is the importance of family engagement and involvement. Um, we do workshops on that. And then we also come out as guest speaker if you need like a guest speaker to talk about the journey, empowerment, women empowerment. We also come out and we do a lot of guest speaking on those topics. But I just want to throw that out there. I'll have to send you the flyers for those,
Yes, do
Latoya,
that.
because we're starting to go out and just really talk about self-love. And that was an extension from TONI Magazine. We talk about self-love from the early childhood level, and we also talk about self-love from the adult perspective. Like, how do you continue to pour out if you have nothing to pour? Where do you
Right.
get that from? We talk about how when you are in a depressive state, or if you're not depressed, when you just feel like you don't have any more energy, how do you come back from that
Yeah.
as a parent?
Ooh,
So
yeah.
we do a lot of different workshops and we do a lot of different, topics, but we can talk more about that. But we have different specific topics that we can come out and be guest speakers on. But
I'm probably gonna be calling
I
you.
wanted to make sure I had a chance to mention that as well.
Well, I'm glad you did. And is this something that they can get to you on your website as well for?
Yes, email me. So if anybody is looking for maybe a 1 to 1.5 hour, we don't do any more than a 2 hour workshop
Okay.
or like a seminar. But if someone is looking for uh, a training, I'm sorry, a workshop in the importance of family engagement and involvement, early childhood education or early childhood development planning, send me an email.
Okay.
I'll be posting some new flyers on Instagram and on Facebook. So because there are a lot of different tracks. So I just want to be clear about that. There are a lot of different specific tracks that we can tailor the workshop to. But I'll be sending out or posting some flyers on Instagram and Facebook or at Planning by When. But if you want to get more information, just send me an email at wendy@planningbywhen.com. Pretty much everything is planning by when. So my email is wendy@planningbywhen.com if you want to get more information as it relates to any type of workshops or having me come out to be a guest speaker.
I'm putting it in the chat and on Facebook, guys. planningbywen.com. All right, because they're saying they are interested. They said, oh, thank you both for this amazing session. Thank you. And Andrea says, I would love the flyer. So I put your email in the chat. And Talana says, I'm interested. I'll be in touch. Congratulations.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Andrea says, can I submit about the great job on how my daughter champions for her daughter with autism? All right.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys, please reach out to Miss Wendy. You guys, she can't wait to hear from you.
Yes,
And
please
we
reach
got
out.
way more for you. So come on in, guys. She says, thank you. Thank you, Miss Andrea. Good
Yes,
to
tell
meet
her
you.
thank you. Thank everyone on Facebook for me. I'm so happy that they were able to tune in. I'm just really excited. Trying to see what God still has in store for me, and if not for me, I know that I'm somehow just paving the way
Mhm.
for our children, for all children. But yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm excited, you guys. So Wendy, she's about to sign off, or you can stay. I'm about to do a couple of updates just to let you know what we're doing on craft, what's new on craft. I'm always excited, you guys, especially after a good craft cafe, because we have so much going on at craft. And like you see, we got magazines coming out. So look for us in the TONI Magazine. Let me share my screen real quick. I just want to tell you about some exciting things happening over at Craft, you guys. And as you know, we always up to something. We always got something up our sleeve. Right now, we are going west. We have gone west. Actually, we had the class last night, our first kickoff to our new Pacific time zones, you guys. We going Wild West right now because we have so many new members. So shout out to our new members. We have members in California, new members, new groups, I should say, groups of members. California, we're talking about Washington State, we're talking about Nevada, we're talking about Kansas, and y'all are all over on the west side. And that time zone, sometimes it doesn't work. So we wanted to make sure that we're not only catering to our East Coast members, because we are really thick on the West Coast, on the East Coast, but the West Coast we are building up. So we wanted to do a little something special. So last night we kicked off our first West Coast time slot for 9 p.m. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. for me, but it's 6 p.m. for the West Coast. So it really helps you guys to not have to be at work while we are giving classes and doing webinars. So we just had a home buyer class, you guys. So we are kind of, we're doing our thing. And I will say that because we are really expanding in the topic realm of what we are delivering. And not just because we want to give you more, but we are listening to you guys' feedback, you guys. We are listening to the pulse of the nation. We have so many people that are being devastated in their homes, you guys. And I'm talking about, shout out to North Carolina that just had a big storm. So many people lost their homes, and thanks to the wonderful organizations out there, the FCCEF out there, shout out to them over there in Mecklenburg County that's been boots on the ground helping those folks that their homes were completely wiped out. And shout out to family childcare, because you know that's our baby. That means not only where they live has been wiped out, their actual business has been wiped out. So that's a double whammy. And we want to help some folks buy some homes. So what we did last night, we did a home buyers class. That's something we have never done on craft, you guys, but it is so needed. Just because we work with leadership in childcare, we can't really ignore the elephant in the room that I don't want to say a majority, but there's a huge collection, a huge portion of family childcare, not family childcare, excuse me, of childcare businesses that are family childcare, which means they are utilizing their personal homes for these businesses to support the leaders that's going out, the first responders, and especially in the pandemic when, you know, they were the only ones that could get out. So the essential workers, they had to lean on family childcare. And this is the time where we need to step up for family childcare and make sure that we're supporting them, because they was the only ones carrying it on their back when nobody could. So this is our time to make sure that not only that they can stabilize the homes that they have, or those of you who are renting the home that you are doing your childcare business in, and you've always wanted to, you know, blow out that back wall, but you can't because you're renting. You always wanted to expand, but you can't because you're renting. You always wanted to put a big sign out front, but you can't because you're renting. So we want to make sure that that dream of being a home buyer can be realized, you guys, in the midst of you having this business. Now, not everybody has the capital to do that, right? So what we talked about a lot last night was the different programs, first time home buyer programs, you name it. We were talking about all of the programs. What do you have to be eligible for the programs, and how to navigate that process, you guys? All right. Now there's going to be a part 2. So if you're not a craft member yet, there is still time, you guys. Now here's the caveat. Y'all know we got the Craft Plus app, right? So that means that if you did miss the webinar, you can always go back to your app, boom, 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 pull it up on your phone, your tablet, your desktop, whatever you got that connects to the Wi-Fi. You can now stream it at your leisure. So you don't have to worry about if you can't make it. Of course, you know, it's nothing like live, all right? You want to be in the building, you know, the kind of, you got to be there. But at the end of the day, you're a craft member. So not only do you get access to the recordings, you also have one-on-ones that you can schedule yourself. So if you see something in the webinar that you want to unpack, that you want to apply to your business, just go onto your craft portal. Yes, Canoe, our very own Canoe, and schedule yourself with any of our experts, okay? Including myself, because you know I'm the marketing queen over here. So make sure you know that. But remember, the next one is coming up, and we're going to be talking more about the process of finding a realtor, working with a realtor, closing on your home, things to look out for, and guess what? You know everybody want to know about this. Commercial real estate. They want to buy a building. They don't just want to buy a house. They want to buy a building, because some of y'all already got houses. So what's next? All right. So we're going to cover all of that. Okay. Now listen, another thing I want to alert you guys to in craft is our Boom, 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 craft executive. Now, let me tell you, I got to take this off for this. I got to take this off for this because craft executive, you don't know what our craft executive is. Craft executive is our line specifically for nonprofits, you guys. And when I say, this is the thing, I would say child care associations, but it's not just child care associations. That is a big portion of it because most child care associations are nonprofits, or they should be anyway. If you are the leader of a child care nonprofit, I mean a child care association that is not a nonprofit, and you would like to become a nonprofit, we're definitely the ones to call because we help people do that too. Because there's a lot of organizations who have not filed their nonprofit status, which means that y'all paying taxes and y'all shouldn't be. So come on over here and let us help you. Come on now. You don't have to already be in a nonprofit to get in craft executive. Our first year we did craft executive, half of the people in there didn't even have a nonprofit yet. But guess what? They had one by the time they left the program, huh? And they're thriving now and getting funded. Let me pull this up. You know, I always got some visuals for you because I want you to understand the magnitude of what it is we over here doing. Okay, because when it comes to our craft executive folks, the cohort, I'm telling you, it's full of nonprofits. I'm trying to pull up right here. Okay, I got a lot going on over here. But what I want to show you is, you know, I don't even need to show you anything. What I want to tell you is, I'll just tell you, if you have not seen the ads, we are upgrading your financing, your fundraising, not financing, but that's finance too. But we're upgrading your fundraising because, you know, I threw Beyonce up there, you know, so she can upgrade you. Upgrade. Now, you got to upgrade your fundraising. How are you going to be a nonprofit and y'all not raising no funds? What are we doing here? The whole point of a nonprofit is to do good in the community, right? And we need money to do that, right? We can do it with volunteers and all that, but come on. We need some people that are dedicated, that are paid to really run these nonprofits so that they can thrive and really create those projects and create change and make an impact on the communities. That's the whole point. It's about service. Okay. So we want to make sure that all that money that's flowing out there, because there's a lot of it. People like, oh, well, I can't get a grant because I don't have a grant writer. I can't get a grant because I've only been in business for 2 weeks. I can't get it. All of these excuses of why you can't make money, why you can't raise the money. Cut all of that. Craft executive, we already said, we put out our little man, I call it, you know, we speak it into existence. We put it out to the heavens. We are going to raise as a group over $1 million in 2025. And we said this back in 2024 when we was gearing up for this. All right. So this is not new, nothing new. And let me tell you, we kicked this off. We did the orientation back in the summer. We kicked off officially in January. And let me tell you, what are we on? We're February 21st. We just had a class the other night. And guess what? The group was reporting. We are up. Hold on. Get to my notes. I make sure I'm accurate because I know it all by heart. I just want to make sure y'all know that I got this written down. Ha, got it right here. 165K, y'all, already, and we already in February. And you know what that's why? You know why? Because one, we set out to do it because you got to have a goal, baby. Okay, you got to have a goal. And guess what? We're not doing it alone because you know the saying, you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. So that's why we do it in a cohort style. So everybody is doing it at the same time, guys. Okay. And we're all over the country. We're nationwide. It's not no one here, one there. We everywhere. Okay. So let me keep telling you. So, okay. What did I say? I said, first, we being intentional. We set a goal. Shout out to Wendy, intentional. Number 2, we are doing it as a group. We're doing it together. So we're helping each other with arm in arm, right? Now, the next thing we're doing is we got the best experts. Come on now. You got to go and find the resources. You don't sit there and twiddle your thumbs, the blind leading the blind. You asking somebody to help you that ever did a grant before. Come on now. We got Jahi B. Davis, MBA, 25. He's probably like 30 years of experience now. I've probably been saying 25 for the past 5 years. But what I'm telling you is this man has not only been on plenty of boards, but he has been the consultant on so many advisory boards for so much money. Come on, his background is in youth build. And you know, that's a $400 million a year organization just for one grant. So what I'm saying is he got buku experience when it comes to getting that money. And guess what? We got our very own D Mouse. Shout out to you, D. She comes in with such a long list of successful grants under her belt. So we got the best grant writers in the house, you guys. And we are not playing. We are taking no prisoners. We're getting to that bag, and we doing it for the kids. We're doing it for the community. We're doing it for the families. We're doing it to make a better future because it's worth it. And if we don't do it, it's not going to get done. All right. So if you trying to get there, you want to sit around and wait, good, be my guest. I'll let you watch us do it. But if you really serious and you really trying to get on the ball, go ahead to our website and find more about it. And listen, call me. I'll give you a demo. You can even talk to the people that's in the program. You can talk to the people that was in the program last year and see what they're up to, because they're moving and they're shaking, so they don't really got time. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you this because people always say, well, I didn't know. Can't say that I never told you. All right. So go ahead and head over to that website, www.betterfuturesdc. That's right, baby.com. And I'm telling you, click on it. The homepage got everything that you need to know. All right. And if you have any questions, anything that you click on to contact us, it's going to come to me. So I'm going to get you anyway. So if you want to cut out all of that, just call directly to me and let me tell you what we got going on, and not just tell you, but I can show you better than I could tell you, and show you the success stories of thousands of business owners that have, they took the gloves off and said, let's go, we ready to move. And now they're flying off into the sunset. All right. See y'all. Bye. Y'all looking good. That's how we do. All right. So you heard first here, Latoya LC Riggins, host of All Things Craft. I'll be there for you, and I'll see you at the next Craft Cafe. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend and be safe. Take care.